What's happening, everybody? Under normal circumstances, today would be New Comic Book Day, and we'll be talking about the new comics hitting shops. As we're far from that, some of you may be starving for new reading material, but have no fear, Gino is here. In honor of what would be New Comic Book Day, I wanted to bring you some graphic novel recommendations right off my bookshelf. One of the continued goals of my channel has been to highlight some of the smaller titles as well as publishers that you may not typically encounter. With that said, let's jump right into it with Archaea, because we are going with The Killer. This is an original graphic novel or comic series from France, originally published in 1998. Archaea brought it to American audiences, and as far as I know, it's been a hit. It's been great. This is actually the omnibus, which contains the first two volumes. I also have volumes 3 and 4 in hardcover format, which are cool. I wish I could have got the first two in hardcover, but this still works perfectly, and it's just a cool book. Also, fun note, it was nominated for an Eisner, which is one of the most prestigious comic awards out there. So shout out to them. The creative team, Luke Jacquemin, Matz, as well as Marshall Dillon and Scott Newman, which I'll overlay here. But this follows the journey of a killer, an assassin. Now, two things I like, besides superheroes, are spies and assassins. So when I heard that there's this assassin book, especially originally published in France, I was like, oh, that's just a cool novelty. I just had to check it out and jump on it, and I'm glad I did. It's a fantastic read. I've been right through it all. And oh my god, it's just such a good book. It follows the journey of Mark, this assassin, and just his life going through this basically immoral world. But as his travels through this, his journey, the people he meets, his personal life, and balancing all of this and everything he goes through, it is seriously just a fantastic book. Highly recommend it. And this is also one of many books. Actually, all my other recommendations here, I think would be perfect for either a TV series or a film series if you're into that kind of discussion. So maybe down the road, who knows what could happen. But just if you're into killers and crime stuff, dark crime stuff, this one also features a foreword by Brian Michael Bendis, who is also a fan of crime stories as well. You know that based on some of his previous works. So he has a nice little word at the beginning of this book. Just highly recommend it. Just go check it out, and throughout this I'll overlay some of the art. But just a strong creative series, and this team has done, or at least with Matz and Jacquemin, have created several other graphic novels together. So they're a great team, and I can recommend some of their books as well from Magnetic Press. Maybe I'll talk about those in a later video. But definitely go check out The Killer, Archaea, worth reading. Next up is another book from Archaea. This is of these three recommendations, this one is actually a true graphic novel. I use the graphic novel because it's kind of just a catch-all term for original graphic novels, trades, collected editions, omnibus, and just all that stuff, because it's just the similar term that a lot of people are using. Comic stores and news, as well as just normal bookstores, all kind of use graphic novel as the catch-all, so that's what I went with. But this one is Royden Rust. This is volume 1, Visitor in the Field, hardcover format. And all of these are available. There are 4 volumes. They're all available in hardcover as well as softcover. I have hardcovers of the first 2, and then I got softcover of volume 3. I still need to pick up volume 4, but this one is one of those books that is basically, this is actually a legit all ages read. You can definitely read it, even it does say all ages, but just as an adult reader of it, I can recommend it. And as someone who has worked with children and has read this, I can highly recommend this. Perfect for adults as well as kids. It's a great family read, and the center of it is about family. So, and what's also special about this one is this one was a very special and sentimental work for Royden. I've talked to him. He's talked about this in interviews before. So you can go check those out and kind of get a little insight into him. And I've also met him. I met him at Emerald City Comic Con when I went there, and he signed it. So you can get there. Royden for Geno. Shout out to him. Dude is such a cool creator, and just his style and storytelling and what this meant to him. We talk about that, and it's just such a good read. Seriously, it just a lot of heart here. You got a little action, this family, and Rocket Boy. It's just such a cool book, but it just kind of still like centers around this family on their little farm, and like they kind of stumble across Rocket Boy, and it's just kind of their life as they're kind of running their farm and the issues that they have as a family, as well as what the introduction of Rocket Boy into their quote-unquote family, or as a part of their family, sort of, an extended family, if you want to call it that, and what he brings to the table as well, and how he kind of just adds to their family dynamic. So this one is a great read if you have young readers in your family, even for, well, obviously right now, wouldn't do anything for schools because schools are closed, but I think this would be a strong recommendation for introducing in the classroom setting, reading with your kids. They can read it by themselves. It's just such a cool book. Seriously, I don't even, like, it's hard to say. You just get, all these are strong recommendations. I'm not even going to go too much into, I don't want to delve into spoiler territory, all the spoiler free, but go check out Royden Loves Russ. Last up, jump over to Dark Horse for another book I talked about before. I think I talked about this one more than those, but here it is, Lady Killer. This is volume 1, and I've talked about this one because I finally was able to pick out all the single issues sometime last year for the first volume. There are 2 volumes of this. I have all single issues of this, but I just wanted to show off the graphic novel. And the creator talked about Joel Jones and Jamie S. Rich. Joel Jones is a fantastic creator, one of my favorite creators out of the last few years. And she's recently had a stint on Catwoman. She's done some Batman, and I believe she was the first woman to draw in the Batman ongoing ever, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what she actually said in an interview when I think an editor told her that. And she was just as surprised as most people were, I guess. But I definitely recommend going and check out. She has several interviews on YouTube you can find, as well as just written articles and interviews, because she goes into her creative process a lot and what she likes to draw. And she definitely loves drawing like action and like the gory stuff, which is strong in this book. It is, everything about this book is just it's a absolutely gorgeous book. I think that was probably the initial draw for me, was like, oh, what is this? Like, the art looks fantastic. I didn't know who she was at the time, but I was like, oh, this looks cool. Let me go check this out. And then kind of reading about the story so you have this housewife who is actually this is a picture-perfect homemaker, but she's also a ruthless, efficient killer. So you have that. So there's kind of her balancing that with her homemaker life, balancing this with her secret killer life, and the home dynamics of being a homemaker. But it was the what was it, like the 50s aesthetic? I think it was 40s or 50s, that Joel Jones has said in an interview that kind of made it so perfect for it, because just I don't know if you could say the juxtaposition of it, but just something about that was a big draw for her as well as me. And just because that time, when we're dealing with that time period, is just something so unexpectedly. So I think that could be a big draw for a lot of people. So Lady Killer, and as I said, there are 2 volumes, 2 5-issue series, and this is volume 1. You gotta check that out there, which is definitely in a striking cover, which should certainly be an eye catcher if you catch this in a bookstore. But this is Lady Killer Volume 1 from Dark Horse. Now, oh my gosh, all of these, as I said, with Killer, Rust, and Lady Killer, all of these fantastic reads, gorgeous looking books, and memorable characters and stories, and they'd all work perfectly as series or movies. And I would love to see some of these on screen. Even Rust I think Rust could work live action or animated. It could be an animated hit, and that would be a huge hit with families. Something similar to like Big Hero 6 or Into the Spider-Verse or The Incredibles, like these comic style stories putting in animation form, any style of animation. It would just be fantastic stories, and they'd all be hits. So that is The Killer and Rust from Arkea, and Lady Killer from Dark Horse. I just wanted to bring you a couple of reading recommendations right off my bookshelf. Stamp of approval from GENOTHADRAGON. You heard it here. Fantastic. Go look them up. Maybe your shop can order them. MyComicShop.com probably has them in stock as well. Just some good new reading material here. Again, I like highlighting the smaller titles. These are, I wouldn't call these, some of these might be smaller, just more niche stuff, but just titles that you don't regularly hear about, especially from smaller publishers and more indie stuff, where you got these cool creators and interesting art styles, flexing their creativity. They're letting their creative juices fly and just having an absolute ball in the comics world. So let me know what you think of these titles. Have you read any of these? Is this your first time even hearing of these? Has this motivated you to go check out some new stuff? Are you starving for reading material right now? Maybe you've been cooped up in the house, you read through all your comics and everything on your bookshelf, and you have absolutely nothing to read, and you're just kind of just waiting for new books to start shipping again. Let us all know in the comments below. And as always, happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON saying thanks for watching, and peace out.